Call to order. Can I get a roll call, please?
Councilmember Matthew Buchanan Jr.,
Present.
Councilmember Luis Cabrera,
Present.
Councilmember Jose Ponce,
Present.
Councilmember Matias Rosales, Councilmember Gloria Torres, Vice Mayor Africa Luna Carrasco,
Present.
Mayor Gerardo Sanchez.
Present.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. We're going to go ahead and go with item number 2A, continuation of discussion, review, and possible direction of staff in all matters regarding proposed City of San Luis fiscal year 2022-2023 budget, City Council contracts, contributions, sponsorships, and dues. Mr. Galaviz?
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. We are working with Finance Department, and for our budget retreat, we should have the total number for the actual budget to provide to you so you can review. But tonight, we'll be reviewing and looking for your direction on these items. To start off, if we could, I'd like to have Ms. Shelley Krieger from the Director of YCAT. We do have this year a one-time contribution, and maybe she can explain a little bit more to Mayor and Council on this.
Please.
Ms. Krieger?
Good evening, Mayor and council members.
Good evening.
The one-time contribution is kind of a multitude of things that have happened actually since the inception of YSIPTA back in 2010, and when it came into actually running the YCAT service in 2012. YSIPTA was started with no fund balance virtually. We had $71,000 in the bank when we began operation of YCAT. We are not a for-profit for anything, so we don't make a profit. Anyhow, over the last 10 years, we have not increased member entity dues due to the fact that we've had in-kind contributions from Greyhound and from Yuma County Services for their treasury service, HR, and other types of activities. Going forward into 2019, I mean, we were making it from year to year, you know, with nothing carrying forward. But in 2019, we took a quite large hit. We were under contract with National Express, who is our contractor for supplying the bus drivers and maintenance, et cetera. Excuse me. I don't know who's whistling. Anyhow, we ended that contract due to lack of proper maintenance, lack of virtually doing their jobs. I had withheld about $1.8 million from paying them because of the lack of not fulfilling their contract. So we went into mediation, and we brought that number down to half of that, about $975,000. When it came time to get that reimbursement back from FTA, our intent was to use our in-kind services to be able to draw down that full $975,000. At that time, FTA says, no, you don't have proper documentation of the in-kind services through Yuma County, so you are not allowed to use that in-kind. So we, in turn, had to take 50% of that $900,000 out of our cash match. So that was a hit of $478,000 out of our cash. So that was a major hit. Then come along COVID. We did reduce our service. We did receive CARES money for operating expenses. We used a portion of that CARES money to buy new buses, and that was $4 million because our fleet was very old. Excuse me. But we were not collecting fares at the time. We are currently collecting fares again. Now I completely lost my train of thought, I'm sorry. And also at that time, since of COVID, the Greyhound in-kind that we received, which is close to $500,000 annually, they reduced their service and then in turn declined in-kind services to YSIPTA. So we had missing $400,000 and some from Greyhound and another additional $270,000 to $300,000 from Yuma County Services. So that again hit our cash. So the one-time contribution is based off of the debt that we owe Yuma County at the $1.4 million. They closed the account at 1.4 million at the time and opened up a new account. We had $600,000 to $700,000 coming in as reimbursements that were going to be applied to that 1.4 million. The county treasurer in turn put that into the new account so we could have a fund operating going forward this current fiscal year. So we are asking each member entity of YSIPTA to come up with a one-time contribution of the amount allotted based upon what you currently contribute percentage-wise to our budget. And then I'm also asking for an increase in the annual dues, as we have not increased any in the last 12 years. Any other questions?
Just a suggestion, I know we haven't increased your dues in the past couple of years, but I think it's a good idea to gradually start increasing them,
Yes.
because I know for a fact YCAT has gone through a lot, and I've been looking at eventually the numbers, and there's still a large demand for your services, especially for the city of San Luis, especially for the students that actually go to AWC. Last thing I heard, I believe close to 60% of the people who ride YCAT are those people coming from San Luis going to AWC.
Correct. Correct.
And if anything, that's probably one of the most used transportation for students to go for their education.
Correct.
Because the fact of the matter is, AWC's campus on this side is way too small, and they don't offer the same services they offer on the main campus.
Right.
So I'm saying that because I've heard some comments, and people are worried because that's the only form of transportation to AWC. So I understand you got to purchase some buses. I know you were hit hard with COVID. I know for the fact a lot of your drivers got sick.
And we had one pass, yes.
Yeah, exactly. And you were wearing masks. So it was just one of those really bad situations. I understand and I understood that this was coming. And it's really unfortunate. But it's one thing that we definitely need is transit.
Right.
I'm a full supporter. So thank you. And the reason why I really wanted to hear from YCAT was because it's quite a difference. It's an impact.
Right.
And I think it's probably the highest impact on our budget in regards to contributions and dues. That is the highest contribution. That is going to be one of the highest contributions for a nonprofit entity. But I honestly believe that it's a necessity. And the city of San Luis is growing, and we're not stopping growth. And we're going to need local transit also eventually. So thank you. Thank you for the presentation. Does anyone from council have any questions or concerns?
No, sir.
No? Monica, how are we doing on, for example, does this affect our budget? I know it's a large impact, but
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. Yes, it is a big contribution, but since this is just a one-time payment, and as I mentioned in prior work sessions, we have been able to build up healthy reserves. So since this is just a one-time payment, I don't see an issue contributing for that amount requested.
yeah, Monica, I wanted to hear that, the one time, okay? That's the key.
One
It's a
time.
one time. And I think all communities and all entities should actually be, because YCAT, you've done a lot for us. And we really appreciate your services. And I know Ralph sits on your board, and he's always attentive of what's going on. So thank you, Monica. Appreciate it. So I have no problem with the changes that need to occur. Does anyone have any problems or concerns or questions?
No, sir.
No. Good. So thank you for coming. Thank you. What other, do we have another presentation, Lee? Or was that the big one?
That was the big one, Mayor. Again, you have your list in front of you
Yeah.
of this agency, so we look for you and council's direction.
Okay, we're going to go through them really quick, really fast. And I know there's different entities here. If there's questions on that particular contribution, we're going to ask you to come front, and we're probably going to ask you a couple of questions, okay? But it's not, first and foremost, thank you for all the entities for coming. It's very important to see a face related to the agency, so I really appreciate that. First item, I guess, is Ramirez Advisory International LLC. I believe Luis Ramirez is on the phone.
Yes, he is, Mayor.
Yes. I just want to commend to Luis Ramirez and his team for the continuous effort and hard work they actually done for the city of San Luis. It took us close to almost 9 years to guaranteed funding for the Port of Entry 1, and the work still continues because we still need to work on Port of Entry 2. I know Luis understands this, but we've been focusing on Port of Entry 1. Shout out to Martin also. I've seen him when he first started at the Ramirez Advisory, and they've done a very excellent job. Not only do they help us with the national, federal government, but they've also done excellent work with our local legislation, government, and so in the state. They've always helped us out with when there's an emergency, even if not related to the port. They're always willing to help us, and they are a key agency to basically talk to the governor's office. And I just can't say enough, Luis. And I know it's been a struggle, especially with the COVID. And I really appreciate your work. And I just wanted to say that, Luis.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor.
Does anyone have any questions? We're talking about an increase of 5,000, and he normally gets 55, and he's also, I guess there's also traveling expenses of $1,500 is contingent travel expenses, and for a total of 60,000, there's a difference of 5,000. Kay, is there a question, concerns, Kay?
Just the explanation that there's 2 lines for Ramirez Advisors, because we have always put in the contract contingency for travel.
Okay.
And so I just called it out since there might be more travel with all the activity on the port.
Okay, good. Thank you. Any questions from council, concerns? One of the things that we need to assure is the construction date, hopefully, I hear it might be March of next year. And so we need to emphasize the importance of our presence there, because, as you well know, federal government has a tendency to make it less of a priority, and all of a sudden we lose $30 million for whatever reason. So we need to be persistent, and we depend on those $290 million. We depend on 60 new lanes. We depend on 10 new lanes going into Mexico. So working with our counterparts in Mexico, hopefully we will start construction of the new port of entry as of early part of next year. That's our goal. So thank you, Luis. Once again, there was no questions or concerns, so we're going to proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and we stand to ready and as passionate as in day one.
Thank you, Luis. I appreciate that. Gracias. We're going to go with Greater Yuma Economic Development Corporation. I believe the approved budget was $57,000. There was an increase of $662. And this is a slight increase from last year, so a total of $63,770. That's because of dues, or is that a quota? That's our fare.
Yes, that's our share. They had scheduled yearly increases, and this is the last one in the series of increases.
Yeah, a little bit of information on the Greater Yuma Economic Development Corporation. They have worked diligently and for the whole county. And the thing is, we've seen so much movement in regards to new businesses coming to the area. And that's in cooperation with Greater Yuma Economic Development and our Economic Development Department. But not only that, but also the county. It's really nice to finally see everyone working and together. Yes, we still compete, trust me, the competition is still there. But it's just the fact that San Luis has the real estate, and we've been actually investing and development of our industrial parks, not just one, multiple industrial parks. That's making a difference. And also the number, also our growth, also that our population happens to be a very young population. So that in itself is attracting. And now that we're investing and we're actually looking at ways to improve our education and our technical training, that's going to make a big difference. So I understood that it was time. And okay, do you have any questions? I see you like looking into the screen.
I was just checking to let everyone know, I think we have just about everybody is here for their items, so.
Okay, good, very good. Does anyone have any questions regarding what they do? And we do have a representative here if you have any questions. I have no questions.
None, Mayor.
None. Thank you. We're going to go with forefronted. That's the IGA contribution. That will not change. It stays the same, $7,950. The reason why that did not change was because the census numbers were not consistent. And so I believe, I think every entity is considering challenging the census numbers because they're very small. We saw an increase in our population, but I believe, like everyone else, there was a higher spike in our population, especially San Luis being one of the fastest growing community. So I commend the board for continuing the dues the same, and actually looking at next year's budget to see if there's a slightly increase. Hopefully our population, our census numbers go up. So that has not changed. Any questions or concerns regarding that one? No? Good. So it proceeds. The Greater Yuma Port Authority, that stays the same. That is something we've been doing, and there's a reason why there's a boom in businesses, especially in our industrial parks, because of that investment. So that doesn't change from previous years. We continue to be a very active member in the Greater Yuma Port Authority. Any questions or concerns? So it proceeds. The YSIPTA contribution, I believe we already discussed this, and there was no questions or concerns on that one, so that proceeds. There's two items on that. The newspaper publications, no requests associated. That is the budgeted for our media, for newspaper is $25,000. That has not changed. Previously, several years ago, the city of San Luis spent close to $80,000 on media, and it was just something that it was just too much. But I think continue the $25,000. I think it's a good thing. Any concerns from council? No. The Humane Society of Yuma, the animal shelter, I believe the dues are the same, $50,000, and thank you for keeping it the same. I know it's been a struggle also with the Humane Society, with COVID and everything else. So thank you for the services, thank you for the vaccinations and the insertions of the chips, and coming to our community. It's a big deal for our residents, and thank you. So that doesn't change. Any questions or concerns? Proceed. And I believe there's also, a Humane Society, that's the spay and neuter clinics, and we have a certain number. That's big, so it's $5,000. Thank you. I have a quick question for the Humane Society. Have you seen more than usual on the spay and neutering on a particular year, or are we still the same? You can answer. Okay, good. Okay, good, thank you. I was just curious, thank you. Amberley's Place, we've been a continuous supporter for Amberley's Place for many years, many years. and we will continue supporting Amberley's Place. I believe the contribution was 42,000, and we will continue offering, actually sponsoring for 42,000. So thank you, Amberley's Place, for everything you do. Any questions or concerns regarding that contribution? If not, we will proceed with Amberley's contribution. The Yuma County Food Bank, I believe there was last year's approved was 25,000. There is a request for 5,000 to a total of 30,000. The main reason was inflation, but I believe the food bank plans to put a freezer in our facilities to actually keep some of that produce here and keep it fresh and actually do. So that makes a big difference, especially in the food bank. I know you depend on contributions. I believe, I don't know if we're still the sole entity that actually provides you with this kind of funding. Yes? Okay, good. I want to make sure. So, and the thing is, a huge percentage of the food that comes from the Yuma Food Bank actually comes to Somerton in our area. So thank you for that, and it makes a big difference. Any questions or concerns from council? No? Okay, good. So we're going to continue with the contribution and also with the increase. Thank you. Hennessy Food Ministry, I believe the request was for 7,000. There was no change. I believe we will continue supporting. If anyone objects to it, I think we will continue supporting for the 7,000. Thank you, Pastor, for the hard work and dedication you do, and thank you for the smiles and the pictures. It makes a big difference. So gracias por las sonrisas y las fotos. Hace mucha la diferencia. Gracias. So if there are any questions or concerns, we will continue. Gracias. The San Luis Film Festival, there was a request for 5,000, and there was no increase, so we will continue. I just want to say the San Luis Film Festival continues to produce and bring new talent to the city of San Luis. That's part of our culture, and thank you. Mr. Carrillo, aquí está Mr. Carrillo? Yes. So thank you for continuing the work. I know it's a hard work, and with a limited budget. So is there any questions or concerns for that? No? So let's continue with that one. The Blazing Desert Comic-Con is a very unique, and it does very well. And so that's 5,000 request. So we're looking at that right there. So I have no concerns on that one. So it's actually a lot of kids look forward for that one. So Mr. Carrillo, thank you for that one also. Any questions or concerns from council? No, we continue with that one. Okay. We're going to go with the Off-Road Expo San Luis. I believe last year's budget was $10,000. This year, they're requesting a $10,000 increase. When that occurred, I had a little meeting with the board that actually does the Off-Road Expo, because we were like, okay, so we need to make sure, I wanted to make sure we brought the message what the expo does. I believe they've given close to $7,000 in scholarships to our local high school students, and that makes a big difference. But their goal is to increase it to 10,000. So half of the contribution basically goes to scholarships. But this is one of the bigger projects. This is one of the bigger expos. And I let them know that this is probably going to be one of the, or second or third most expensive events that occurs here in the city of San Luis. I was very clear. I was very to the point. It is $20,000. But when you mention the one that you also contribute to the scholarship program at our local high school, because they're in need also. And so the key thing is that our kids, I believe their scholarships for $500 or $1,000 scholarships, it really makes a big impact, especially for the kids. So we the city cannot directly give scholarships to students, but your agency can, and that's what we do with different agencies. I believe you're going to bring better products, better band. The dyno is a big hit, especially with our off-road aficionados, and so the motocross, the jumping, no one else has it here in Yuma County, so it's a big event. And I believe it's probably going to be bigger this year. And so you will continue using our facilities, and it's one of those items I heard that a neighboring city wanted you to go to them, and I don't think we should go anywhere. So, I'm leaving out a lot of details on that one, but there's only one close by. I'm just saying. Any questions from council?
Yes,
Concerns?
Mayor.
Uh-huh.
So the $10,000 increase will be to cover like the bands and the new features, I guess is the word?
Yeah, what happens is every vendor has increased their prices.
Okay.
And what they were making, it wasn't enough. And that was the biggest concern. How much were you spending? And the thing is, even the sponsorships have gone up. And they continue looking for sponsors. And one of the things I emphasize, because the expo does not cost $20,000. It's more than that. It's a lot more expensive. And the motocross, the dyno, the band, everything costs more. And the thing is, to the point where I don't want them cutting scholarships. They should increase their scholarships. And I know it is more difficult, but I think the city needs to see those outcomes.
Okay, no, I was just wondering if they were gonna make it bigger or if there was
They're going to make
like,
it, yeah.
sponsors that weren't, wanting to
Lisette, por
contribute
favor.
anymore, or what the deal was, because $10,000 is,
It's
it's a nice little amount,
Yes, it is.
not pocket change.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and Vice Mayor and Council. Yes, we are celebrating this year our 10th annual, so that's a big thing too. And we are looking for more sponsors, and we are making it, we're bringing an additional attraction to the event. Right now, I can't disclose what it is because we're still in agreements and contract, but that's one of the main goals. But like Mayor mentioned, our main goal is to increase our scholarship fund, so.
No, thank you. I think it's a great event, and the times that I've attended, which I think I've only missed one, it's very, very well attended, and it's something very good for our community. It attracts a lot of outsiders to also come in and get to know our city. So, no, I'm for it. I was just asking.
That's good, and I thank you, Lisa. Thank you for that information. At first, I was like, ¿Cómo was $10,000 more? But at the end of the day, what you guys do, the vendors, and I believe you're bringing talent from Michigan, from different areas that didn't come last year because of the COVID situation. And
Yes.
so you're making the San Luis Expo a name and a brand, and I appreciate that. And that's part of San Luis also. So gracias. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're going to go ahead and proceed. The PEP Youth Build, I believe, let's see here, it was 30,000. They have not increased the 30,000. I have a quick question for the PEP Youth Build. What's your number? What's the number of students your classes? Jesse, ¿están Jesse aquí? Yes. ¿Qué tan grandes están todas las clases? Por favor, aquí. Los números de estudiantes que estamos viendo. What is the number of students that we're seeing?
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. The number that we have right now is 25 students
25
on
students.
the group 20. And we have plans to complete this cycle on the month of November.
Okay, good.
And right now we have 85% in attendance
Perfect.
and 93% in participation. We have 12 boys and the rest ladies.
Okay.
So
Oh, wow.
we are participating very well. And we participate in the community, working with Park and Recreation, Public Works, and you name it, Yuma Community Food Bank, and another partnership that we have. So we are.
Jesse, I just want to commend you because I still see previous students working in our community, and that makes a big difference. And the thing is, I see Youth Build volunteering everywhere also.
Thank you. And
So,
then,
thank you.
for the next cycle, the 21st, and we have planned to have 40
Oh, wow.
students.
40 students?
Yes.
Okay, good. No, Jesse, I have no problems. Thank you. Gracias. Thank you for
Thank
everything you
you.
do. See, any questions from council for Jesse? No? Jesse, gracias. Thank you. We're going to go ahead and proceed. The next item is the San Luis Chamber of Commerce. And the thing is, let's see here. The request was for 25,000. Actually, it was for 20, not for 25. So we're going to make that correction.
They sent two letters. One was for 20 and one was for 25 for.
We can only do 20, if anything. Let's show that video, please. Can we show that video? I need you to see this in order for you to understand.
En la, ma- en la mayoría de los casos, un proyecto comienza con un sueño, una idea que es el alma y el propósito de una organización. Hacer fértil y productivos los más de 600 negocios instalados en San Luis, Arizona, y hacer evidente a las personas para aprovechar sus conocimientos y experiencias. Por eso, te queremos conectar. Buscamos la colaboración mutua y fomentar un intercambio entre personas, conocimientos y experiencias. No queremos más tiempo estar solos. Busquemos crecer juntos, con competitividad y una reputación del gran espíritu de servicio que San Luis, Arizona, se merece. Una cámara de 360 grados promoviendo la diversidad de negocios llevados a las redes sociales y medios tradicionales de difusión. Mantener un vínculo sólido basado en confianza, apoyo y compromiso. Siendo la Cámara de Comercio de San Luis, Arizona, el verdadero vínculo de interlocución entre autoridades, población y nosotros mismos. Una iniciativa que cobrará sentido gracias a sus miembros. Por lo tanto, las puertas están abiertas para despertar del sueño y convertirlo en una realidad. La Cámara de Comercio de San Luis, Arizona.
Do we have the long version where Yescas, the mayor from our counterpart, ¿dónde está José Luis? José Luis, do we have that part also? The reason why, actually last week I had a meeting with, it was a small meeting, it was a very informal meeting regarding, there were over 20 plus business owners, be small or big, and Patricia Parrilla, she is the owner of Revista Latinoamericano. Actually, she's been in San Luis for over 5 years. She has, like, I believe, 5 or 6 employees. And one of the questions she actually brought up was why San Luis does not have a Chamber of Commerce. We do have Yuma County Chamber of Commerce. Somerton has their own chamber. San Luis, the city of Yuma has their own chamber. And the key thing is, one of the things when I discussed this with Patricia and Felipe Camargo and Sergio, who are here, was we need our business owners involved. One of the biggest questions is why doesn't San Luis, Arizona, has their own Chamber of Commerce? And so one of the things that they emphasize is they wanted a separation. They wanted to be an entity eventually, self-sufficient entity. Eventually, the San Luis Chamber of Commerce should be a nonprofit organization, like the one in Somerton, but it takes a process. One thing that needed to happen is we needed to see the participation of our local merchants. And that evening, there was a lot of questions regarding what has the city, or what does the city of San Luis do for its merchants? The question about the assistance for loans, for COVID assistance was there. Most of those programs are no longer available, but they needed a resource. There was a lot of questions is why does it take longer to open a business here compared to Mexicali or any other place, or El Centro? So, and also the concern was why can't we be working with our counterparts in Mexico and San Luis Colorado, like other organizations do, like in Nogales, like in Douglas. There's a lot of cooperation among sister cities. And the reason why I wanted to bring one, because Mexicali wants to get involved also. Mexicali, Imperial County, San Luis Colorado's merchants also want to be part and help produce a Chamber of Commerce. And the Chamber of Commerce, but it's not about just being on letter. The whole promotion is to promote via radio, video. The good thing about Patricia, she's been in the printing or news industry, so she does a lot of marketing for Imperial County, for Indio, for all the different regions, and so she is also a participant in their chambers also. So I think San Luis, Arizona needs a chamber of its own. I think eventually they can become self-sufficient. That's the whole idea. So could we show us the video, por favor? Thank you.
Amigas y amigos comerciantes de San Luis, Arizona y la región, les habla Santos González Yescas, presidente municipal de San Luis Río Colorado. Me enteré que se están organizando para conformar la Cámara Nacional de San Luis, Arizona, lo cual me da mucho gusto por la colaboración que podemos tener también con los amigos comerciantes de nuestra localidad de aquí de San Luis Río Colorado. Yo los invito a que se organicen muy bien porque haremos sinergia para todos los proyectos que hay. Por ejemplo, ahorita tenemos la aduana de México-Estados Unidos en proceso de ya remodelarse y construirse una área importante en nuestro municipio, como también en Estados Unidos. Va a ser de gran ayuda porque somos ciudades amigas, ciudades hermanas, tanto San Luis, Arizona, el condado de Yuma, como San Luis Río Colorado. Yo les envío un saludo afectuoso y un abrazo con mucho aprecio a todos ustedes y desde luego que su alcalde, a su mayor, nuestro amigo Gerardo Sánchez. Yo estoy para servirles y de veras mi reconocimiento y felicitación si llevan a cabo la conformación de esta Cámara Nacional de Comercio en San Luis, Arizona.
Me da muchísimo gusto a través de este medio virtual enviarles un saludo, un abrazo a todos y todas las presentes. Y bueno, lamento mucho no estar de manera presencial. Sin embargo, quiero aprovechar esta ocasión para enviar una calurosa felicitación a este proyecto de iniciación de la Cámara de Comercio de San Luis, Arizona. Por supuesto que felicito de antemano a Gerardo Sánchez, especialmente por esta gran responsabilidad, y a Patricia Parrillas también. Déjenme decirles que el lema de este Ayuntamiento de Mexicali, del 24 Ayuntamiento, es uniendo esfuerzos. Creo totalmente en que la colaboración, la cooperación es la base de todo. Somos ciudades hermanadas por nuestra geografía, hermanadas también por nuestros orígenes y por nuestros intereses. Quiero que sepan que cuentan con todo el apoyo de Mexicali. El gobierno de Mexicali estará muy pendiente y espero una próxima ocasión para estar todos juntos. Muchas felicidades.
Hola, ¿qué tal? Un saludo, les mando saludos Miguel Ángel Torres, presidente de Cotuco, Mexicali. Es sumamente importante tener una cámara hermana en San Luis, Arizona, ya que podemos desarrollar productos juntos, tanto de este lado de la frontera como en su ciudad. Traer turismo es muy importante para ambos y para ambas ciudades. Queremos decirles que sería un orgullo participar con ustedes, vincularnos y desarrollar una cámara juntos. Sin duda, el comercio organizado es lo que puede detonar un desarrollo para ambas ciudades. Muchas gracias, saludos.
That was the message that was given to the members that were there, the different business owners of that area, and the key thing is that the region is ready. Working with Forefronted also, I emphasize working with Forefronted, with the different mayors, we're trying to promote this. We are trying to promote businesses, we're trying to promote tourism, we're trying to promote how can we improve our relationships, not only with our county, with Yuma and Somerton, Welton, but also with our counterparts in Mexico, San Luis Colorado. So this focus is not just, the main focus is here, the city of San Luis, but yet we have to work with our counterparts in San Luis, Mexicali, and also with Imperial Valley. So it's one of the things that's very ambitious, And it's going to take some time and effort, but I think we can do this, and with the participation, people, the business owners wanted to sign up right there and then. So, but we needed, they need their support, they need the city. This is not going to be a city-run organization. It's going to be a different entity. So the whole idea is eventually for them to become independent, self-sufficient, but they need startup. And so previously, in previous years, we have helped. We actually sustained the Chamber of Commerce. That should not occur. They should eventually become self-sufficient with advertising, with radio, with TV, with social media. And so I think it's the right time. I think San Luis, Arizona continues to grow. We're not going to stop growing. But it's very important that our merchants, that our business owners continue and work together to make a big difference, especially like in the other communities. So that's my spill on the Chamber of Commerce. We have here Felipe and Sergio that are working with the Chamber, if you have any questions or concerns.
Sí, yo sí quiero dar mi opinión acerca de esto. Yo fui parte de la Cámara de Comercio hace años y recuerdo muy bien que la Cámara de Comercio se fue reduciendo porque no se pudo sostener sola. Entonces, el propósito, yo pienso que sí estaría bien la oportunidad de darles un año nada más para que ellos se puedan sostener, pero ya después de ahí, si la Cámara de Comercio no se sostiene sola con sus dues o lo que trabajen ellos, yo pienso que, porque en años pasados nos pasó eso, y digo porque yo estuve parte de la Cámara de Comercio y no dio resultado. Entonces, pienso que no vamos a poder estar cada año sosteniendo una Cámara de Comercio si no se sostiene sola. Claro. Esa es mi opinión.
Claro.
My opinion on the matter, Mayor, is that I don't agree with this item. I think that from the video, forefronted deals with some of that. Additionally, last meeting, Derek requested a position that was going to help with marketing and videos and all that. So then we have that also. And then the Yuma County Chamber is doing an amazing job. So for the time being, until this organization finds out a way to sustain their efforts, that our merchants should tap into the Yuma County Chamber. That, that's just my opinion, but right now I don't think that the city should spend $25,000 plus give them a office space. Is that what the email said, Kay?
Yes.
They're also requesting office space? That's
Yes,
my opinion.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
Yeah, yes, Mayor. I do like the idea of to bring Chamber of Commerce. What I agree with Vice Mayor Carrasco and Councilmember Gloria. You mentioned that Somerton has a Chamber of Commerce in Somerton.
Somerton? Yes.
No, Somerton doesn't have Chamber of Commerce.
They had one. I know they had one,
Okay.
but I don't deal with Somerton, but they had a very effective one that had over 100 members.
Do they have to pay, do they have to come up with the same money? To
Eventually, they became self-sufficient. They became a nonprofit organization. Yes.
From what I heard, they're not spending any money on Chamber of Commerce. Because in the past, we had a Chamber of Commerce, and
This,
apparently it didn't work.
yeah, this depends on council. If council does not think that there's a need for a Chamber of Commerce, so be it. And so obviously, if you think that the current Chamber of Commerce is offering the services that our community needs, it's really your opinion that counts.
That's why I said it was my opinion.
Yeah, so, but like I said, merchants have a lot of questions, concerns, and they want to have a chamber. But it's up to you guys to decide. I'm for it. I'm for the project.
Yeah, me too. But can they, survive with the dues? They pay every.
First and foremost, there has to be an organization. And in order for it to form, no one's going to do it for free. And the thing is, eventually, they will be self-sufficient with fundraising, with dues, but they need startup money. It doesn't matter what agency.
can they find, not even can find a space? I mean, for their office? I mean, why would we need to come up with even with the space, Mayor?
Because no one's going to do it for free, Mr. Ponce. The thing is, but if you believe that the Chamber of Commerce, the Yuma County Chamber of Commerce is doing everything they're doing for our community, so be it. But I believe they are not. I believe the city of San Luis deserves to have an independent Chamber of Commerce. I believe they have to have, I believe they should have a united voice. I think they should not be part of government. I think they eventually will become self-sufficient. But is that what you, but if you're not against, if you think that the needs are being covered, so be it. Anyone else?
Well, I believe that we should give them at least a year so they can try it out, and then we go from there. We decide next.
Okay.
I mean, it's a good idea. It's not a bad idea that Gloria Torres mentioned. I mean,
Yes,
they should start somewhere and for them to sustain themselves from there on.
That makes sense. I mean, I don't mind. That's the challenge that they're going to have. And the thing is, startup is always the hardest part. Becoming a nonprofit becomes very difficult.
Yeah, because I talked to Somerton, and Somerton said before they had and they eliminated because they didn't work on it. It didn't work on. They're using the Chamber of Commerce of Yuma. They said every event or everything that they have, they use Chamber of Commerce of Yuma. That's what I hear about.
Anyone else?
Well, why didn't you did a survey, I mean, in the community and see what they
It's already
They
done.
did.
And the thing is, they surveyed over, I believe, ¿cuántos fueron los negocios que hablaron? ¿Hablaron más de 100 negocios? Sí, yeah. They surveyed over 100.
Mayor, one more question that just came to mind. So their proposal is for us to contribute 25,000. So will our Mexican counterparts also contribute the same amount? Is it like, because the video mentioned like a group effort, right?
It's a good effort. They cannot, like, we cannot provide any dues to Mexico. They cannot provide dues to us also. For example, forefronted ED,
Yeah.
they're not allowed to spend money in the United States in regards to dues, and we're not allowed to spend money over there. Their contribution is to work together and promote local businesses, organization, do events, to promote local tourism. And that's their contribution. Mexicali, the same thing. Mexicali is looking for a market. They're looking for location. They're looking for investors to invest. They want a source, a resource where they can actually go. The Chamber of Commerce is more like a resource than anything else for new businesses or for people who want to invest. And so that's the reason why.
Correct.
Anyone else?
I just want to say that I think it's a really good idea. I just see two different perspectives. I see a binational Chamber of Commerce supported through the sister governments, which is great. I fear that it's going to become more of a binational thing than a focus in the city of San Luis. Also, if we have a lot of businesses who are truly interested in joining, for example, if we have 100 businesses who says, yes, we're up for it, they do a membership due of $150 as a startup fee, that's $15,000 right there. So we can provide the office space, and by office space, we need to know exactly what they refer to as office space, because we cannot, I mean, as it is, we barely fit in the city hall that we currently have. So if we say, yes, we're going to give you office space, and they require 2 offices or 3 offices, then how are we going to manage that? I think it's a little too vague. Also, some of the other people that are requesting money, they're explaining what they're going to use it for, or how it's going to be like a breakdown. I didn't see that coming from them. A good example is the Children's Museum of Yuma County. They said, we'll be doing this, this, and this is how we're going to use the money. I thought that was great that they're being transparent. Here, we don't know where the money is going. I think you said they're not an established nonprofit yet, so I know that all takes money, but it also can't fully be coming from the city. I mean, we can support them.
Luis, for clarification, no money will be given out just like because they're gonna give 20,000. It has to be an organization, and it needs to be, there has to be a process to become nonprofit. We don't ever just dish out any money. And the thing is, and when they talk about office space, it's just one office. And we're not talking 3, 4, 5 whole buildings. Just a location where they need to find out. But it's obvious that the council is divided. It's obvious that you're not for Chamber of Commerce, and it's okay. It's no problem with that.
I think we can start with maybe a lower contribution and offering the office space if they need a startup fund, but 20,000 I think is a big amount to start up. I mean, we don't even know if it's gonna come to reality. It's a vision. It's a great vision. I like the videos, but it's happened in the past that they weren't self-sustained, and then it just vanished, and there went the taxpayer dollars. That's
So
my input.
noted. So noted. Okay, so this item shall be removed from the agenda.
Mhm.
Thank you. We're going to go ahead and go with the Arizona Interagency Farm Workers Coalition. I believe the request is for 5,000, and we continue giving 5,000, and these are specifically for scholarships. I believe we have a representative here, Mr. Quiroz. How many scholarships do we provide with that kind of funding, Mr. Quiroz? Got to speak, Freddie.
Buenas tardes, good evening, Mayor. It's an honor to be here with you guys again, especially to see so many friendly faces that I haven't seen in so long, so good to be here. The Arizona Interagency Farm Worker Coalition, we give out scholarships. We'll be giving out 20 scholarships this year. 7 of them, $7,000 will go to San Luis students. Each one of them will get $1,000. So we try to cater. Our goal is to ultimately raise it up, but out of the 20 scholarships that we'll be awarding, 20,000, 7,000 will be going to San Luis resident students, AWC students, PEP, and San Luis High School students.
Fernie, thank you. Thank you for your organization. It really makes a big impact, especially now tuition has gone up at all universities, and I don't know about AWC, but it is expensive. So thank you.
And it's, it's $1,000, and it's a big scholarship. I've gone to some other ceremonies, and a lot of big entities that pride themselves on scholarships give out $2,500, $500. These are $1,000 scholarship. The main one is an Arizona Western College student who went to San Luis High School, lives in San Luis, will be receiving a $2,000 scholarship.
Very good. Good job. Any questions?
Yeah, Mayor, can we, I'd like to recommend, can we provide 1,000 more to this agency?
We can increase,
do that?
but if the rest of council agrees with it.
Yeah, well.
I mean, I was the guy who originated 5,000, so, because I believe.
I think he's doing a great job, so I think he deserves it.
No.
And the idea, it's an opportunity for the city, like you said, the reinvestment, It might not be an opportunity for the city of Yuma directly to give scholarship, but this is a direct impact that you guys have for students that live and reside and go to school within the city of San Luis.
That's good, very good. So if there's any objections, we're going to increase the dues from 5,000 to 6,000. If there's any concerns.
Thank you, Mayor.
Anyone against that?
No, thank you.
So noted.
And as always, I'll provide photos. We do photos of all the scholarship awards. So.
Thank you, Fernie. Please thank your board. Thank you.
Thank you, Fernie.
We're going to go ahead and go with the council support group of Yuma County. The request was for 5,000, and 5,000 remains the same. We got the letter from.
Yes, we did. Actually, we budgeted for 5,000 last year, but they didn't use it. So it's not really a repeat, I guess, if they didn't use money. But
No, they didn't, yeah, there was differences, and now there's a nonprofit representing the Grupo, Cancer Support Group of Yuma County. So I commend for the hard work. And I believe Comité Bienestar is going to be the main
Yes.
nonprofit organization.
Yes, that was their trouble last year. They were meeting and supporting each other, but they hadn't formed a group. And so this year they're aligning with Bienestar.
Yeah, no, it's what happens. So, no, thank you. Any questions or concerns regarding that support? So we continue with the 5,000. The Children's Museum of Yuma County, they requested, this is the first time they request money, and I believe it's 10,000. And any questions or concerns regarding the 10,000?
Can we start with 5?
Okay. Do we have a representative for the, yeah?
I think the 10,000 would be good because of the breakdown that they submitted, because it details everything that the money will be used for, so I'm for that amount.
Okay. Yes, tell us a little bit more. I know you came, gave a presentation, and how's everything going since the pandemic?
I delineated the breakdown of where the $10,000 would be spent. One thing I would really like to highlight in that are some of the experts that we would like to bring in whenever we are doing events in your community. A month after I presented to you at the council meeting, I was chosen to attend a training with NASA scientists and planetary scientists. Because of those connections that I made there, and the whole focus of that program was bringing science and space content to underserved communities such as San Luis. I made excellent contacts with those people, and we are working on a way to get them to come to Yuma County and specifically to San Luis. So I'm very excited about that. Along with the art experts, there are several artists in the Phoenix area who have an interest in coming down here and helping with an art exploration day. Your Dia del Niño celebration this past week. One thing I miss being in the classroom from when I was teaching at Roosevelt School in Yuma was every year we did a huge Dia del Niño celebration for the community, and that is a piece that has been missing. And I think it's important, since we are a children's museum, to get back to those roots and celebrate children and their families on that day. So any way that we can be of assistance to you next year, we would love to participate and partner with you. And then an additional outreach day. This is where I'd like to meet with your staff so that we can come up with something together that is tailored specifically for the community, and maybe something that isn't space-related or art-related. I want to hear what your ideas are so that we can tailor something to your community.
Thank you. Quick question before that. Is the city of Yuma also donating directly to you guys?
Yes, they are. We just heard word on that this past week, so they are also contributing to us.
Okay, directly. And you're a nonprofit organization?
We are a nonprofit. We've been a nonprofit now for 9 years.
9 years now. Okay, good.
And we anticipate opening our permanent year-round facility sometime. We're still hopeful for the August and September timeframe. So you'll notice in that breakdown, there's also an item where we would give 700 family passes for families up to 5 people to come and visit the museum. That breaks down to a little more than $7 per family, whereas normally it's going to be about $7 per person. So.
Okay, very good.
Anything else?
Any more questions or concerns?
I do have a question. Are our schools going to have like a special discount for field trips or?
All schools in Yuma County, because pretty much all of our schools are Title I schools, we're going to be giving discounts to them, yes.
Awesome.
And we have appealed to all of the area superintendents to not only make those field trips available to the students, but to also help us find transportation to get them, or to fund that transportation to get them to the museum.
Thank you.
I'm very passionate about that as a
Very
former
good.
teacher. That
I can
we've
tell your
lost
passion.
too many field trips.
I could tell your passion. Very good.
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else? Any questions?
No.
Okay, so I guess we are going to go with 10,000. That's the consensus. So thank you.
Thank you very much.
We are now going with the Arte en la Calle. They requested $5,000. This is the first time we actually give money to Arte en la Calle, and I believe they've been working with the city close to almost 2 or 3 years, and I appreciate Abraham for being here. I know they're very active, and it's always a cultural event, and you bring so much talent, a diverse talent to the city, and thank you, Abraham, and your organization. I met the people that come from across the border, very talented, very, very artistic, and every time you guys have an event, and it makes a big impact. When people ask where this $5,000 go, it's basically, it's amazing, and you should go. The last event I couldn't attend because I was out of town, but gracias, thank you, and it's just amazing, the artistic quality that our youth and also our counterparts in Mexico bring to the Arte en la Calle. It's a beautiful concept. Thank you. Any questions or concerns from council? Any questions, concerns? No?
No.
Okay. So, thank you. It proceeds. Gracias. Now we're going with the Cesar Chavez Life and Legacy Committee. I believe this is the first time. The Cesar Chavez Life and Legacy Committee is a nonprofit organization. And finally, and so they're requesting funds. The reason why they're requesting funds is because this will guarantee that the Cesar Chavez Festival and events continue, and because there's always a risk that, and also I believe Somos is the organization. It's a nonprofit organization that does this, and 9,000, and this goes directly to our community. So there is no question about if this is international or no. This is Cesar Chavez history. This is something that we need to continue to share. I believe Maria Robles is here, but next to Maria Robles is a historian that actually has done history. And the plan is for this historian to actually start writing something for the history books, not just on social media. So I know Maria Robles Somos will be working directly with him, and we will eventually start using his talent to actually. I saw some of the books he wrote regarding Rio Colorado, the whole story, and it was just amazing. Our history needs to be written, and it needs to be written correctly, and I think it's part of the program. But in regards to the Cesar Chavez Life and Legacy Committee, good job, good work.
Mayor, could we up it to 10 or no?
There is.
I'm very passionate about Cesar Chavez. My father was a Chavista, and so am I. And so I think that all the events that we put in will help continue carrying his legacy for our younger generation, and hopefully we don't lose.
We're not going to lose
our
him,
history.
definitely. Yeah, definitely. That's very passionate, and we were low on the 9,000 because we didn't know what kind of support we were going to get. So. If 10,000 is what's recommended, and I am full supporting. I mean, if anything, I would want to give him 15, but we can do 10 for this year and see what happens. So, any objections or questions or concerns? So that goes into $1,000 more to 10,000. Thank you. So, felicidades, 10,000. So that's gonna word that part. Now, these are civic contributions. That's by law, 22,000. The Gaston marching band, there was no request, so it's 0. That goes to 0 this year. The Arizona League of Cities and Towns, that's not even a no-brainer. That's up $900, $958. The Arizona Mexico Commission is $1,500, it stays the same. The Border Trade Alliance, it's $10,000 per member. We need to be part of the Border Trade Alliance. We need to continue, or else Texas will basically dominate those decisions in lobbyist groups in Washington, D.C. If you have any questions, please stop me. JC Technologies, the recording software, there's tentative, was it 5,892 in parentheses, indicating?
So we've always budgeted that bigger number there, 6,462. But I had Monica give me how much we're actually spending, and for the past 2 years, it's only been around 570, so that's what we're budgeting.
So that the increase is
So it's a decrease.
So actually decrease?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 570?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So now, Leo, it's 700, and I believe, is that also a decrease to 580?
Yes, Janet is to be commended for that. She got a discount for our group, so we got that one down.
Okay, and also now the National League of Cities, it jumped census, it's based on our census, and we have increased, so that's 3,620, and we need to be part of the National Leagues of Cities. We need to be part. That's a big one, because we need to have the communication with the other cities and see what the other cities are doing. That's very important. The Yuma County Chamber of Commerce, let's see here, the dues is 660, and it's 660, so it stays the same unless you want to increase it or decrease it. Okay. Okay. The YMPO organized, let's see here, the YMPO dues are 7,900, and there's an increase of 13,572, and I believe that's match, and also I believe population. Am I correct?
I believe she's on Zoom. Did she?
Yes, she is, Mayor.
Okay, do we have a member, do we have a representative of the YMPO? Could you explain the increase of 13,572, please?
Yes, good evening, Mayor Sanchez and members of the board. Basically, just to, actually, I want to introduce myself first. My name is Crystal Figueroa, and I'm the YMPO Executive Director. And looking at the numbers right now, the 13,572.74, it's not a whole increase of 13,000. I noticed that the number for fiscal year 21, I noticed that the number of 7,917 is being used, but that's the number for fiscal year 2021 instead of fiscal year 2022. So there might be a misunderstanding in that number. The total dues for fiscal year 23 would be 13,564.09. Which is about an increase of $5,000 compared to the previous year.
That makes a big difference. So, for example, we should be it's not 21,494.
No,
it's actually
no.
13,500. That's a big difference.
Yes, and I just want to point out that in fiscal year 2021 we decreased the dues, due to a couple factors. One was that we received a funding source that didn't require a match. And so therefore that it decreased in 2021. Prior to those years, the average contribution for City of San Luis was about 12,500. Yeah. And at the moment it's around that area, around that amount, 13,000. 564. I noticed that it's just a bit of a discrepancy on the number that was sent out, but it's close enough where the 13,000 is not a full increase of 13,000. It's just a difference of around 5,000.
From previous
5,655.
From previous year. Thank you for that clarification, Crystal, because that made a big difference. I was like, whoa, that's a big difference. We didn't grow that big. being part of YMPO is so important, especially because some of that award money that's coming to fix the quote-unquote curva peligrosa in Los Alamos went through YMPO. And so if that one itself, it's worth more than $13,572. That's going to be very expensive. So thank you, YMPO, for everything you do. Thank you for looking at our needs, not only for San Luis, but also for Yuma County as a whole. So thank you, Crystal. And
Thank you. I look forward to working with you all.
Thank you. Any questions or concerns? No. Proceed. We're going to go ahead and proceed. Thank you, Crystal. The Yuma Sun newspaper subscription of $170, and there's an increase of $10, so $180. That's a big expense right there. So, thank you. No request dissolved last year. Is it Wado?
Yeah, Western Arizona Economic Development District. They didn't use the money that was budgeted, and they dissolved. I don't know if
So actually, we're saving over $15,000 in total right now. Okay. So actually, no, that's $50,000. Okay, so that's their grand total. The total should be changed. So be it. We're done with this list.
Yes, Mayor, we'll provide an update for the next council meeting.
Thank you so much. Thank you for all the entities who came, and congratulations for those who got full funding, and take care, and we'll see you next year. Thank you. We're going to go ahead with the next item. Let me just go online. There we go. Perfect. We're going to go with item number 2B, updated, followed by discussion in all matters regarding the City of San Luis tourism letters project proposed in July 2021. Vice Mayor Africa Luna Carrasco, Luis Galaviz. Tell us about this.
Good evening again, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. Again, this project was brought up, I think about a year ago. And so the Vice Mayor would like to see where we're at with that. So I did contact Mr. Leon and Mrs. Rebecca Shing Leon. They were the ones that had proposed this and brought this, and it was presented by the city manager about a year ago. So just to give you a quick update, and Sonia, if you can bring up this was part of the presentation that was given, I believe, last year with the different proposals. I think that there was some comments made on which ones were more attractive or what council was wanting to see. Discussion was, how much? Well, first of all, what design Mayor and Council would like to move forward with, and where they would be located.
All I could say is that someone decided to do it differently. When we decided, we decided on a location. Actually, we decided on a diagram. We decided on a color. But what happened is we got letters.
We got what, Mayor?
We got letters next to the baseball field, San Luis. That's what we got. And the thing is, and that's what happened last year. That's the letters. So we didn't get what we did this. We were very specific on what we wanted, but we got San Luis letters.
Yeah. And just to give you an update on that, Mayor, those letters were pre-ordered through the department, to the Parks and Rec department. When these came up, these were more going to be focused on the tourism. So
what happened to them? What happened to them?
Again, we're following up, and that's what we're trying to figure out. One of the things, of course, COVID happened, but I'm waiting for a proposal. The manufacturer or the person that was going to, we were going to work with or provide the proposal for the letters. Of course, prices have gone up. Yeah. It's different. So I was hoping to get the proposal today. I just got an email that she said that it would be tomorrow morning. So I will share that with Mayor and Council. Again, I'd like to, I think there was, just wanted to be definite on if there was certain letter design that mayor and council wanted to move forward with. And again, there was talk about the location, but not specifically where mayor and council would like to see it. So we can follow up with that and provide a presentation to be more specific. And also tonight, if you're able to give us direction, we can bring this back to move this project forward.
I suggest you look at the minutes from last year, because it took us quite a bit of time to decide. And I believe the vice mayor was also involved in that discussion. And the thing is, and we decided, it was pretty much what decided. It's the same number, I mean, same figures that you're showing right now. But definitely, it's understood that the price was going to go up. Let's go back and what was finally decided at that work session. I don't think that's changed. But bring us what we decided a year ago, or more than a year ago.
Definitely, and I believe, I want to say it was number 3, proposal number 3.
Yeah.
But we will look at the minutes and confirm that. But I just wanted to bring them back up again, just to make sure that, that was the direction you wanted to head. And again, we can give you some options, provide you some options on location, and you can give us direction.
Yeah.
The proposals will be, and hopefully, like I said, I'll have that proposal tomorrow.
Good. Give us that information so we can move on it, because it's important.
Louis, I have a question.
Yes.
Are these the same letters are these the letters that you have at the baseball park, or these are additional letters to those?
No, the past city manager, worked with the individuals coming up with the design. On the proposal, and I'll share that again with everyone if you like, they were very specific on the design for what each letter, in each letter, the representation of the community, and how that had a connection with the area. So we can again propose that or bring that to you so you can review. And so this is what was provided as part of that proposal that was presented to mayor and council.
So the letters that are currently at the baseball next
The
to
baseball fields, those were already ordered before, and that was another project we were working on. Those were more for special events, to be moved around at the different special events so people could take pictures. This is more detailed and more focused on the tourism and what represents San Luis in the area. That was the intention for those other letters, were special events. This was more focused on the tourism and being able to put them in a specific area in our city to promote the city.
Thank you, Louis. We're going to go ahead and go with the item number 2C, discussion of possible direction of staff in all matters regarding creation of a Hispanic society that would work on collecting historical data, documents, pictures, and conduct oral history projects for the city.
So, Mayor, I guess this is almost as to what you said this gentleman
what it is, yeah.
in the audience is doing, so maybe he can, give us, we can sit down with him and not, obviously not tonight, but in the future. And the reason I brought this up is because I think it's very important, as I mentioned before, that we continue with our history and that we keep record of it so that we can share with our future generations. We're a fairly young city, so I think we're still in a good stage so that we can start collecting all the historical data. I don't know how to do it, but maybe staff can look into it and see how this can be done as far as the Historical Society goes. I know most of them are nonprofit organizations. I know that much. But I know there's grants available, maybe not necessarily for the city, but for the nonprofit. But if we work in partnership, I know there's people like Maria Robles and Antonio Carrillo that have mentioned before in the past they're very interested in stuff like this. So I know, and including myself, so they know there's members of the community that we can do volunteer work to get this off the ground. And that's just something that I wanted to bring before council so that we can start thinking about it and start doing something, preparing the legwork for it.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I totally agree with that. The fact that we have a historian sitting right next to, but this is a historian. He's titled, he's written multiple books in regards to history, and that's the kind of history we need. People who actually write history, who write history books. I think it's time for the city of San Luis to do that. I think it's very important because we only save pictures and files, but no one's writing history. The city of San Luis became a city in 1979. Have you guys seen a lot of pictures from our history? No.
Correct.
There's a lot of history that's being lost. We're losing residents who are in their 80s and 90s who lived here, who were the first residents of the city of San Luis. That's why, but word of caution, history does cost, but we need to invest in our future. And so, no, we definitely need to talk to our historian here, and I will make sure that you get his information and the kind of work he does. And I don't think there's a person that's more qualified to actually do the history, and it's a technique. And so definitely.
Oh, very cool. I'm happy he's here tonight.
Yes, very good.
Mayor, I remember there's already 2 Founders Day events that committee provide Parks and Rec with pictures, all pictures. And I don't know where they keep those pictures, but there's already 2 times that we already provide with those. And I was one of the ones that was choosing which one are from
Unfortunately, when actually we came into council, there was a lot of stuff, history, in boxes where they paid the water in the old shed in the back, and it was infested with termites. So we lost a lot of history, a lot of pictures, and so we definitely need to work on that. So, and this is previously, so now we have everything. That building, no, I believe it's empty. There's no termites anymore, so everything is in here. So our history is being protected. So no, I agree. So we're going to come back with a proposition on this one, and thank you, Vice Mayor. We're going to go ahead and go with item number 2D, discussing the possible direction of staff in all matters regarding replacing the gazebo bench located in Lankin Drive and Sierra Vista. Oh, interesting. Do we have pictures on this one?
Did you get a picture? Yay. I forgot. So we should go on a drive around town, and that would be our first stop. It's fairly old and kind of deteriorated.
Yeah.
Some vandalism, not too bad, but it needs a facelift. In my item, I put to replace, but listening to Jesse from PEP, maybe his kids can go in there and work on it. It would be a nice little project, I don't know. But that's something that we should look into, but it definitely needs to be worked on. I don't know if it's at the point where it can be a hazard to anybody that goes and sits there, I don't know, but eventually it will become.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of needs in our community, but we have to start somewhere. And ramadas are a big thing, especially in our weather. So no, that's excellent. Let's look into that, Louis. That's a no-brainer.
Will do, Mayor.
Thank you. Those are the items. So I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So move, Mayor.
So the motion, there's a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? Motion carries. Have a good night. Thank you. Gracias por venir. Gracias.